too. So I just have a feeling that Clubhouse will be right in their wheelhouse. Funnily enough, we've never seen Desire play it. They've actually banned it in 3 of their 4 games so far. And the only time that they were close to playing it was that it was meant to be the deciding game when they played in the qualifiers against Barbie Boys, eventually Odium. But of course, they got walloped 2-0, so that we never got to see Clubhouse by Desire. So this is brand new and fresh for them, and I hope that Kakin's been putting the work in to help them out. He's showing everyone's favorite latest and greatest meme at the moment. I guess that's his expression right now.
Christmas Ying. What does that mean?
Great question.
I don't know. Anyway, Ying and Rams banned out. Yeah. I don't really know what to make of that, to be honest. Like, all the other important attackers are left in. I guess Ying's like kind of an important attacker on Clubhouse. Like, you can enable some of those more like explosive executes wherever you need a funnel in, that kind of thing. You need Ying. But, you know, that being taken out as alright, it does leave open all the other options for the attack to get in. I think Mira being banned out is actually not a bad one here on Clubhouse as well. I feel like she's come back into form, especially with all the important defenders there are at the moment. I think that if there is any one that you don't want to deal with, I think Mira's a fair enough pick, and so is Fenrir.
Yeah, Solus is in though, so that roam clear is going to be quite a challenge. Dealing with a roaming Solus is one of the biggest nightmares you can have on the attacking side, and she really does have a home here on Clubhouse, that's for sure. Azami as well, when it comes to that top floor, makes that cash bomb site a little bit more defensible, and she's just damn good everywhere, isn't she? So we're actually not going to see the Azami this time around. People do love playing Azami on Church Arsenal, but you don't need to. It looks like this is quite a roam-centric setup here from Desire.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea to go for the roam here. Like we were saying with the attack, the 2 bans that have come out have meant that all the like hard breach operators and all the anti-wall denial operators are there as well. And so it's going to be quite challenging to keep these hatches closed, keep these walls closed. So I like that what Desire realized is that, okay, we're not going to be able to keep our hatches closed, so let's just go and contest out into that second floor and that top floor for as long as they possibly can, and actually deny them access through the hatches that way instead.
I think you have to with this operator lineup. You need to fight for every inch on the defense when hard breach, which is the name of the game on Clubhouse, is so accessible for the attack. Soft breach, on the other hand, you're not going to have the RAM available, so we're seeing that bot come in. We're also seeing a couple of operator switch outs. Okay, Frixel in the end is actually going to stick with the Yana. He was tempting, I believe, the Jackal for a brief moment, but decides, look, this roam clear is not going to be easy with all this drone denial. By the way, Mozzie, Vigil, and Solus all to deny drones, but Mammoth are going to have to deal with it anyway.
Yeah, I think it's exactly right. The other thing about having Iana is you get that set of nades as well, and I think ultimately explosives can be an important factor when it comes to the execute. You don't want to put all of your eggs in the roam clearing basket, because by the time that you hit the mid to late rounds, you're going to struggle to make that execute work. So here goes Mammoth on their roam clear through the map. They first set up Killerman just outside of the main double. What is it called? The double.
Lobby door?
The lobby door. Oh my gosh, the lobby double. That was what I was looking for. And I couldn't quite get it out. Just said lobby double. Ready to cut off any of these players going back inside of lobby through lounge back into blue. Meanwhile, the rest of them are going to surround this ground floor to try and make their way in.
And Chef's the first one in. He's got the hard breach still available. He's actually felt a little bit of heat from up above. I think that was Verson. Or version, depending on your flavor, up in con upstairs. He's roaming around cash. He's made a very long, ambitious line of sight, looking down into blue as well, but that hatch has been opened.
Yeah, so it seems like Mammoth are going to look to cut this roam game in half. They're not actually looking for that full clear from the top going down, but instead they're going to force some of these roamers to actually fall back in through the ground floor and then hopefully be ready for that retake.
It's quite a slow middle round here for Mammoth as they're just holding position. Desire are waiting for Mammoth to cross their lines of sight, waiting for them to make the first mistake. And I think this is a great move here from Mammoth. Wow, well played. Hunter to support, confirming that kill onto Bailey, the critical player upstairs. But there's been a bloodbath elsewhere. Killer has gone down, but Version as well traded. He's loyal in a very awkward position as he tries to fall back to sight. Frixel is ready to receive.
Yeah, really well read there from Mammoth, anticipating that the fallback from Desire was going to happen, and off the back of that, they're actually going to execute into the bomb site, and it's all over from there. Chef Jeff to drop the blue hatch and take down 2, trying to go through main stairs.
Look at that. A perfect lineup. Freest kills of his life. A bit of a spin for it as well. And what a lovely way to open it up for Mammoth. No need to roam clear, Mandy, when you just sit and hold, wait for the roamers to come to you.
Yeah, I think that's honestly like the Mammoth MO that I think we've seen in all of Stage 2, to be honest. Like, it's just like have a good idea, like an overall macro idea. Everyone plays on the same page. There's no one that's like stepping out of line, if you will, to that philosophy. And I think they really do the calling super well. I think it's actually Hunter that's on the IGLing for this team. So whatever he's been doing in this prep time to go and figure out how to call for this team has been really excellent through the whole stage.
What really impressed me was how quickly Mammoth went from, oh, we've just got a man advantage out of this roam clearing exchange, and now we're on site. Like, that was the drop of a hat, the flip of a switch, and they're already in and ready to run amok and take the site away from the defense. Now, just an interesting note, I was having a bit of a chat to some of the Bandits and the Desire players in the lead up to the season, because they were the two newest teams, the two most unknown teams. I can't remember who it was. Might have been I think it might have been Drift or one of the guys from Bandits, but they actually called out Mammoth specifically and said Mammoth are looking like one of the scariest teams right now. And that's funny, because we're talking about a region where you've got Bliss and Triple R and Odium even, full of gunners, Aerial Arise, and Mammoth are the ones being called out. Perhaps that was a bit of a premonition for what we would see here in Stage 2.
Yeah, they knew something that we didn't coming through this off-season, and it certainly proved to be correct now in the stages. Mammoth could potentially secure themselves that third place in the stage, which could be an absolutely massive result off the back of Stage 1, right? So here we go. This is their second attempt at a full roam clear, but this time they're actually really leaning into this full roam clear lineup. Not only have they brought along the Jackal, but they've also got a load of drones going in through the top floor. Of course, with Solus on the board, all 10 drones are actually still remaining for the attack at the moment, so all this info is going to come out. Frixel's going to take it in super fast fashion, and it's going to be pretty quick for Mammoth.
Yeah, beautiful roam clear. Very much the polar opposite mentality for Desire here. We've tried a full roam, now let's try basically full sight. And, well, it is going to help them survive a little bit longer in the early round. It's going to make this mid and late round quite awkward, because neither of us, I think, doubt Mammoth's ability to breach all of these things that need to be breached and start really pressuring these anchors.
Yeah, well, the challenge here is that once they hit the bomb site, yes, they are going to have that vertical, but they're not going to have explosives. And so all those Kiba barricades are going to remain up. There's no way that they can, there's no grenades that they can roll in to take it down. It's not like they have Ash or Zofia to take down any of the stuff, right? So they are going to be funneling into whatever setup that Loyal decides to make on the bomb site.
Oh, Kaken gets very aggressive underneath the church hatch and takes down Killerman. That's a big pick. However, Elsewhere Version has been down. He's not going to be finished off. He should likely be revived here. My question is, with the Thatcher dead, are there any Electroclaws still yet available for the defense? Or is the damage done?
I think that's it. I think that it was the two Electroclaws. They were there juggling that motor hatch. He was playing the trick game and unfortunately wasn't able to get it off. So instead he's going to fall back inside a church. This triple will be opened by JPK on the hard breach, but with 50 seconds left to go, it's time for Mammoth to sit down on these drones once again. They've still got like 5 of them in pocket now, and it's plenty of information that they can gather to then plan out their execute.
Yeah, great positions for Mammoth. Keep in the back of your mind, there are 2 Yokai still up on the board. A little bit of damage JPK is through these featsy holes, but not able to find a kill as of yet. As Chef Jeff is the one to drop here down Moto. Frixel to push from blue. He might be able to swing. There are quite a few players down in the back of Arsenal, and unfortunately for him, he is going to lose the fight to one of them. Here comes Chef, though. A big pre-fire finally nets a result, and Mammoth have redeemed themselves here. Chef for another one. The rotate completely gone, and Chef goes deep for another kill. It's all up to the Echo now to clutch, and he's not able to deny the plant. Bailey, though, however, finds the first and spots the second. Now looking for the 1 versus 2, the Echo will make his march forward, but of course JPK, Evergreen on the long angle, is able to clutch out the round, and 2 in a row for Mammoth.
Really nice stuff there for Mammoth. I think well read with the tools that they had there for the attack. Of course, we pointed out before that there wasn't really a way that they could clear the Azami setup. They didn't really have the utility that they needed to go for like a kitchen hatch drop and make a flood work through there. But what they did have was double hard breach. They had the range hard breach of the Ace, and they had the redundancy in the Thermite as well. And so from there, it was a lot easier for them to actually then go in for a triple church push off the back of Frixel going in for the backstab. It was really Chef Jeff, though, who turned the tide of that execute, making all 3 entry kills for himself enough work. They were completely untraded by Desire. They were spread too thin on the bomb site for those trades to work, and that really sealed the deal in that attack.
Yeah, my man Chef turned it up. He's not usually pinned down as a fragger, is he? But he made those entries count. And this is something that you can point at Desire and say, look, I'm starting to see the cracks, the chinks in the armor, when they are unable to trade out a player getting that deep into sight. When you've got like Urizami, you've got Blue Pressure, you've got people in church, like it's a bit scary, and I think it's the marker of a less experienced team.
Yeah, I think the thing was it was a bit of a misread, I think, a little bit from Desire. I don't think they quite anticipated that it was actually going to be a triple execute. It didn't look like they were super ready for it. Like, for example, we were on board with JPK, who just...
Okay, Verson.
We were on board with JPK, for example, who was like staring in through the triple wall and just like was doing pot damage on like players on the bomb site, right? It just like, it didn't look like, from Desire's point of view, that they actually knew where MEC were going to execute from, right?
They should have heard the double drop church. I don't know. There was, yeah, you're right. It was a misread. Don't dwell too much on the past. Look to the future, and the future is that there's 4 rounds up for the taking on this Desire defense, and they need to get as many of them as they can, because as we've said, defense is the name of the game here, and especially, I think with these bans, I'd be pretty solid on the defense. I'd want to look for 3 or 4 defensive rounds. And just to take a moment to look back into the overall, the big picture, the perspective, Mammoth are still 3rd. And they are one of only 3 teams who are still actually eligible to go to the major. Unfortunately, with Kelton's Knights losing to Triple R, their chances of the major have passed them by. And that's the case for every team except for Mammoth, Bliss, and Triple R.
That's exciting. It's actually super exciting for this team. Like, this is a team that I've enjoyed watching, like we've said before, but I think has also been working very hard through the season and through the off-season as well. So it would be good to see the fruits of their labor actually come true.
There's a crazy reality where somehow Triple R and Bliss like tie each other, and Mammoth somehow sails past them, but it just seems like a ludicrous notion at this point.
So here goes Mammoth on their sweep in through the building. It is going to be CCTV in church, so Desire once again switching up their bomb site. Instead, it's going to be a sweep in through the con site, though. That wall was opened up nice and easy. As we alluded to early on, it should be relatively easy to get those walls open, especially with the Thatcher on board. And the first pick is, in fact, going to go the way of JPK, making things look even better for Mammoth.
Oh, wow. Look at the long angle there from Killerman. A second pick for Mammoth makes this very uncomfortable now for Desire. With the breach open onto Cash from construction, there's not many places to sit safely on site.
Nades sail through from Frixel as well onto the player on Rafters. It's Zethi on the other side. It doesn't do any damage onto him, though. Player in top red has managed to rotate back into the bomb site off the back of that Keeper barricade. Not just that, but get away with a kill and his life. That's Kaken on the other side to take down Chef Jeff. With only 50 seconds left to go, the attack can dial it back here a little bit if they choose to. Just freeze up, actually try and plan out the execute a little bit better, and don't give away this numbers.
Well, they've already given away Chef Jeff. Verson is below with a good line of sight. Killerman goes down. That's a big pick. That's the player on the platform. But if Hunter is able to force this diffuser down, it might not matter. Because we're in a 3v3 post plant. And now Desire have to cross so many lines of sight. Frixel will claim the first. Verson was down below. He's now made his way upstairs and he's going for the swing, but he will also fall. Kaken now in a 1v3. Good luck, mate. That's a long angle. You don't want to be dueling with the SMG-11. A flashbang, an attack pause already called, as Kaken will do his best, but let's admit it, 18 seconds on the clock. He's lucky if he finds a consolation frag here. Frixel to confirm the kill onto Verson, and JPK to mop up the final one. Mammoth, untouchable here on Clubhouse.
Yeah, and once again from Mammoth, textbook play, textbook execute onto the bomb site. All you need to do is open up the main breach, flip around, open up the con breach, and then from there assess whether they can go in for the plants or force themselves to flood into the bomb site. They have to choose their win condition there. And I think ultimately them slowing down towards that pre-execute phase and actually making that decision to go for the plant and get on board with that, I think was just the medicine that they needed to turn that round into their favor. Good job, I think, from Desire, though, to realize at this point they really need to take that tactical timeout and actually talk about what their philosophy is going into the rest of the rounds, right? Because right now it just looks like they're not matching up to the steps of Mammoth at all.
Yeah. Very much the case. So, what do Kaken and the Desire lads talk about now? You can see Mammoth, conversely, are looking very chill during this tactical timeout. Of course, they're just cruising on through. It's the other side that need to get on their bikes, that need to start to work out how they're going to play this going back to Church and Arsenal for the 3rd time, Mandy. They've tried a heavy roam, they've tried a heavy turtle, and they've come up with nothing both times.
Yeah, so this time it does look like they're going to revert back to their old strategy of going for a heavy roam, like you're saying, actually covering all their grounds in all three sites, all 3 levels of the map. I think this time the thing they have to be more cautious about is that fall-off route that they're going to go for, right? They actually need to assess whether their fall-off routes are safe, and the big turning point for that will be the Solace, right? They need to be able to actually use the Solace to inform exactly what fall-off routes are safe for them if they're going to go for this massive roam like this.
Yeah. Question for me is, like, how aggressive will Desire play on this roam? Because what happened in the mid-round last time they did this heavy roam is they all kind of ended up trapped in the top floor, and Mammoth had full control of bar and all this, and Mammoth are just sitting there like putting more and more pressure on these anchors, like cranking up the torque. And Desire sitting upstairs like, well, if I make a move, they're probably watching me, right? So I die. If I don't make a move, then my teammates on site will die. Catch 22. So what did Desire do about it?
Desire having to play the cautious game now as they hold on to the top floor with, I believe it is 4 players. 4 out of the 5 players are holding on to that top floor, and it's leaving Kaken all alone on the bomb site. He is Legion, so he can hold on to a lot of points of entry all by himself, but it is still a dangerous game for them to play. Meanwhile, on the other side of Mammoth, it does look like they are going to approach this roam clear to its fruition. We've got Frixel once again picking up that Jackal and is going to enable himself to get inside the building and take down these roamers quickly.
A bit awkward for Loyal there, is not able to take down the drone, not able to hack it. Might be able to find a kill though, so he'll take that. A second one now as Bailey has gotten aggressive over on Jacuzzi, and that could be the round done and dusted if Desire can consolidate this numbers advantage.
Yeah, so this time around, Mammoth actually looking to top-down clear spelled their disaster because, as it turns out, Desire are pretty good on the entry denial. The first 2 picks to come up from exterior to the building. Finally, Mammoth can get a foothold on the inside, but another one to go down from Verson isn't going to look good on their cards.
Yeah, this is going to have to be a massive reply. 2 picks back is something, but even if they're able to find a third, I still think that Desire is favored when it comes to that final push. You know, Hunter still has 1 breaching charge on the Thermite, and Chef still has 2 secondary hard breach charges, plus the skeleton key. So there's actually still a lot of util to work with, just not the numbers.
Yeah, I think the numbers thing's really important here, right? Because they've got Bale, who's stuck in a pretty good position. It's going to be quite hard to figure out exactly where he is. So even if they do drone out the 2 players on the bomb site, they realize, okay, there's only 2 anchors. Do we want to hit it? They have to be careful of the flank that comes down afterwards. So that is actually what they're going to go for here. They're going to completely ignore Bale on that top floor, and they're going to try and hit the remaining 2 anchors. But those goo mines are going to telegraph their push.
You can't hold on too long, Chef. You're going to have to pull that out. Bale is looking to make as little noise as possible. He goes for a long flank, trying to stay invisible to the drones, but of course he's not unhearable to the drones. Hunter needs to win his one. He spots the player for a brief moment, takes a hunk of damage, but it's an easy spray down there from Kaken, who finds the double, believe it or not, for Desire. They have finally stemmed the bleeding, and they've got the first round on the board.
Really good work there for Desire. In the early game, they played an excellent entry denial game, especially out onto the breaches. We were on board with the Mozzie player in that top floor to take down Frixel, who was that key to making the roam clear work there for Mammoth. He was that Jackal player, of course, and taking him down really enabled them to hold on to that top floor for such a long time through the round. Even though a lot of bodies did get thrown at it and they did go down, they were not able to lose out on that man advantage that they had, and even though the execute did come through, Kaken was there to stop that. So really well played from Desire all through the paces of the round.
Well, if there's any time to do it, it's probably when you're down 0-3.
yeah, that's right. And you've taken a tactical timeout too, so.
And on the back attack. So, yeah, 2 more rounds in the half, and Desire, realistically, in my mind, need both of them. So it's great, but don't go, tell them the town crier or whatever that, the Messiah has returned. It's only the first of many steps that will be required for Desire to even, realistically, have a shot in this game. At the start of the stage, man, we probably would have said, yeah, Mammoth, Desire. Obviously, Mammoth have the tenure, but Desire could surprise us. This should be a pretty well-balanced game. But now Mammoth, it's a new face, right? Third place in the league. Desire, they've won 1 game, and it was in regulation, but it was against Bandits, who are at the bottom of the standings. So this is quite a seesaw of a matchup. No doubt Mammoth are favored, and Desire really need to keep the pressure up that they established last round.
Yeah, for sure, and they're not going to just be able to do it on that ground floor, sorry, basement bomb site. They need to show their prowess on something else as well. I like what they're doing here. They have realized that the Thatcher is being brought by Mammoth, so they're going to choose to play this bandit juggle minigame on the other side. I think it's really important that they are able to try and contest onto the exterior of the map, and that trick from Bale is actually going to be successful. So far, so good for Desire.
Yeah, that's kind of awkward. Like, that's not even the bomb site. It's just your step 0.5, if anything. However, of course, Mammoth are able to find a pick anyway. And there is redundancy in the hard breach. You've got JPK on the ace in addition to Hunter on the thermite. So I wouldn't be too upset for Mammoth so far. They have won this first minute of the round regardless.
Well, I think the tricky thing here with the hard breach is that there is actually only one more Selma charge for JPK, so he's going to have to use that one very carefully. Killer on the other side is going to open up this round again for Mammoth, picking up the second kill. Kaken's going to actually stick around here, which is going to lead to his demise as Killer walks in to claim his second of the round and actually is going to double down with Hunter. It's just going to leave Bale all alone on the bomb site.
You blink and you miss it. They might have technically won the bandit juggle, but now Bailey is also going to have to win 5 engagements, and he might not be given many engagements. Here's one. He's just being toyed with. Chef. He just holds out the
look at his face. Look at his face. He knew that he's done something cheeky.
That's even more BM than like going for the knife. You just hold out the sledgehammer and let him shoot you.
Just stand there menacingly.
Just stand there menacingly with the hammer. And like, he died, but he's not going to care, right?
Oh, that's funny.
There was no way that Bailey was winning that. That was, I like it. I like Mammoth. They're funny.
That's funny. Yeah, they're having fun with it, you know. I think that's what you need to do. God, sorry, it just looks so silly, the replay. Yeah. Have we decided on Bailey or Bale, by the way?
Alright, so there's a couple of these with Desire because I thought it was Verson.
I think it is actually Verson because his name has an E in it in the graphic, right? Like in the actual graphic, not in the game. But.
Yeah.
So now I'm on Team Verson as well. I
thought it was Verson and Bale, and then all the other lads started saying Bailey. So I was like, okay, well, let's go Bailey because consistency. And then Jake started saying Version. I was talking to Guz about this while walking to the studio today, and he was like, oh, I thought it was Verson, but Jake's saying Version, so I'm just going to do that. And then I called Guz a beta. So.
Oh. Yeah, as you do.
But I mean, that is their relationship, right?
Yeah, I guess so.
I'm happy to stand by Verson if you want.
Yeah, Verson and Bale.
Oh, we're dropping the E on the end, are we?
Just Bale. Because if it was Bailey, it would be 2 E's, right? Or like a
Y. A Y, yeah. Also, there's like, we had the cutie, Bailey, like the OG.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about him.
Yeah, from the good old days on Order. So I'm happy to go Bale and Verson, but maybe we'll have to check after the game.
Well, Bale or Bailey, if you're listening, you can add us a bit later and tell us that we're wrong, maybe. Anyway, yeah. We're going to keep going anyway with this game. Completely sidetracked is going to be back in CCTV and Karis. They are going to reattempt this one. Remember last time, oh my goodness, can't form sentences, that Mammoth were attacking this bomb site. They did a very textbook attack, just open up this wall, swap over, go do con, and go for the plant. So this time around, Bale is going to look for that bandit trick onto the wall, and it's going to be successful for a second time around. Okay, right, they've doubled on it. Yeah,
I was confused. I was like, what's Mammoth doing? Like, he's sitting there waiting for the EMP, but mate, you got bandit juggled last round. But I guess the ace did the job.
Yeah.
It's chill.
Well, they took down one thermite charge for his cause, so not bad from them, but this is where Mammoth are going to do their work on the other side of the map. So Hunter can't quite open that con wall just yet because there is another bandit wire. Who would have known that electrification is such a big part of this game as it stands? But yeah, it's going to stunt their push for just a little while.
It's funny because you've got Maverick, you've got Thatcher in. You would have thought that we wouldn't be looking at many bandits or Kayyids this game, but we've seen quite a few of them. Mammoth, though, for them, they're all about the hard breach, right? Like, they're about getting the platform wall open and then rotating to construction and opening up the cache wall, which worked really well for them last time. But hang on a second. There's 2 cheeky roamers on this main stairs.
Yeah, they both going for the flank here. They seem to have been pretty well read at this point. Chef is actually going to hard hold it, and when he's going to get off it instead. So Mammoth know what's going on, and instead both these guys are going to hold hands and go run away instead.
If I'm on Mammoth right now, I'm just rushing site. Like, 2 players are off site.
Yeah, you called it.
And one's dead.
You called it.
And so they do, but the C4 is a bit dangerous. A relocation from Hunter, some sound cover from the Selma as Bailey looks to get aggressive on it, but he doesn't land the shots. Oh, JPK, you have saved this round. Oh, let's see what can happen in the retake. Loyalth and Versen are finally making their way back to site. Loyalth caught completely in like a deer in the headlights. A 3K on for the round. And he's going to go for this. He's going to look for the ace. He's got 25 seconds to make it happen.
Yeah, it's a tough one, though, with such a slither of HP and both players playing such a disciplined game. One at the bottom of red says, flashbang even out for Hunter. He doesn't even want to take a fair one-to-one engagement. He wants to take it while he's blind. It is actually not going to full white him, but Killer is there for the trade anyway. And another good round to close out from Mammoth.
Damn, he do be killing this, man.
Yeah. He does be killing.
He does be killing. Can you believe that that's a 5-1?
That's pretty good.
That's
pretty good.
That's pretty good for Mammoth. These guys know what they're doing, hey? They've had some tight games. They had a heartbreaking loss to Barbie Boys in their opening game, did Mammoth, 6-8. Funnily enough, on this very map. And then they had a 7-5 close loss against Triple R. But since then, it's been nice, clean. 7-4 against Bandits, 7-3 against Aerial Arise. Does that mean we're up to a 7-2 today and then a 7-1 next week?
Well, if pattern continues, it would go that way, hey?
Well, their next two games, Mammoth, are Bliss and Kelton's Knights. So if they 7-2 this game and then they 7-1 Bliss and 7-0 Kelton's Knights, I will eat a hat.
Oh,
I actually will.
Oh, damn.
They're not going to do it, so I'm not even stressed. I'm not even worried. It's not going to happen.
All right, man. I don't know. I wouldn't count these guys out just yet. I think they could take up the fight to Bliss. That's all I'm saying. So,
well,
hey, Mammoth, they're doing good.
I'll say also on the flip side for Desire, kind of the opposite sad storyline. They have lost 7-1 2 weeks in a row. Surely not a third. I bet you that's what Kaken's thinking right now. Is like, guys, not 7-1 again. Like, let's get one more round.
It's like the 7-5 curse all over again.
It is.
Kaken was tweeting 7-5 for like a whole year or something like that. Yeah, poor lad. Yeah.
Oh, come on. Get one more round, lads, and then we beat what we've done. I mean, one more round and they get as many rounds as they've got in the last 2 games they've played.
That's not bad. That's not bad. Oh, hang on, look at this though from Desire. It does look like they want to go for a very quick entry of the map. I think they've realized that Mammoth are actually not playing this roam game at all because they've been given the entire map for free. Can only imagine off the back of some pre-placed drones, Chef Jeff's doing a dance inside of dirt. Chef Jeff's been doing a lot of server dancing recently. It was him breakdancing in the dining hallway in the last game that we casted, if you remember that. So
who was that?
It was Chef Jeff.
Oh, yeah. Chef Jeff's a weird guy.
Yeah, he's a bit strange.
He's a bit of a strange one.
It's alright, he's having a good game.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, anyway, so Desire have been given the whole map for free, so they can do things in the mid-round now. They've got the buck in the hands of Zathi, so they can start to play the vertical. The thing they have to be worried about is Frixel, who is on that main stairs at the moment and is contesting them for just a little bit longer. But surely he's going to make his fall back towards the bomb site soon.
This is a full turtle strat, but just with a little bit of a tease on the staircases. Have a look at this from Chef. Speaking of weird individuals, man, you got your smoke, 3 gas babes in pocket, and he's playing in this like little rat angle next to dirt. It's probably going to work. I tell you what, it is going to work, but it is extremely cheeky and quite risky.
Yeah, it's a strange game. It's been a real strange game to watch, hey? Anyway, here goes Desire. Now, they have realised that they do have the entire mid-floor to themselves. They are all going to be around in this bar position. Zethy's actually the one with the hard breach as well. Man, Zethy's got to do everything this round, dude. He's got the hard breach charges. He's also got the verticals. So this mid-round is going to be all about him for about 30 seconds before anything can happen.
I think that the idea for Desire must be to breach the triple wall with the ace. But
yeah,
that's not going to happen because Hunter's there to bandit juggle it.
Well, the thing is, you can't really like reliably bandit juggle a triple wall, can you? Oh, but there's only baby EMPs on the side of Versen. Yeah, it's like...
Maybe. I guess if he throws lots of Selmas at once, maybe.
It's very hard. I'm going to say it's very hard for him to reliably do this, I would say, for Hunter. But it's certainly not impossible.
Oh, okay, he gets naded, so it is now impossible, I guess.
Yeah, that's a nice nade. That was the one through the vertical, I think, as well, so nice one.
There is a trade, however, Killer on the long angle, but Versen's just gone straight into sight. Oh, he burns to a crisp. See you later, Versen. 3 players left, but Bale has got into the building, and he's found a kill for it as well, make it a double. 3v2, numbers advantage for Desire. As Frixel looks for a bit of a flank. That's a beautiful shot, and guess who's back? It's Kaken in a 1v2. Caught between a rock and a hard place, and the rock will smash him to pieces. Chef Jeff just adding insult to injury as Mammoth steal away. Match point.
Yeah, really good stuff there from Mammoth. Okay, you know what? Don't Don't die on the retake there. Don't die. Chef just scares us, man. Like,
He's
what is
trolling,
going on in
man.
this game? Yeah, it's a bit scary. Yeah, you know, all things considered, not bad for Desire. Like, they tried to go for that same triple push that Mammoth were able to do in their attack, but they couldn't quite land it, unfortunately. The firepower just wasn't quite there, I think, coming in through the triple wall and coming in through Moto. And a really nice retake there from the remaining 2 players of Mammoth to close it out in good fashion. Yeah, I think overall for Mammoth, just playing the long game, playing the late game, realizing that Desire are taking their time to make this execute work. Unfortunately, just that little bit of disconnect on the execute was what Mammoth needed to claw their way back in.
Yeah. Even when Bale goes nuts here in blue, it all takes us just 2 nice 1v1s from the Mammoth guys to bring it back. Credit to them. They're doing it good.
God, man.
He's trolling. He's hard trolling right now. He does not... Oh, poor Kaken, bro.
No, Kaken.
Man, he would be so mad. He's like, we've made this a 3v2.
Oh, that was 2 completely different reactions, man. Chef was like, oh yeah, you know, going to sleep. And Kaken's like, dude, he's so close to victory, but not quite.
I feel for Kaken because, like, I mean, I've been a bit of a Kaken simp on the broadcast, but, like, this guy could easily be in a top 4 team. He's playing support right now. Chuck this guy on entry. Like, this guy could unironically entry for a lot of really top-level teams as well. It's just, obviously, his circumstances were a bit of a shame with his old team disbanding. But Mammoth have really taken the opportunity of seeing all these, like, weaker teams kind of struggle a little bit, and they're gunning for it. Like, Mandy, they win this round. Mammoth are 2nd place in the region above Bliss.
That's actually crazy, man. Like, they have had such a glow up since stage 1, and the amount of work that they've put into this stage, like just all the prep work, how well that they've dissected like literally every map that they've played so far, which actually, to be frank, hasn't been too much map in diversity, but you know, it's not what matters in a best of 1 stage at all. Ultimately, I think Mammoth, they're just good at what they do. They're very well drilled. They clearly have a very strong grasp and understanding of the game that's been seriously upgraded from stage 1. And I think if they take this 7-1, I wouldn't be surprised.
Well, 7-1 would be a nice way to do it. That's for damn sure. Like I said, they've had a increasingly easy go of it as the play days go on. They started with some of their most challenging matches and since then have really started to come into the swing of things. Yesterday, they stunned everyone with that aerial game. A lot of these players that we've never really talked about before are starting to show what they're made of. Killerman is one of them, top fragging at the moment. Oh, actually, Chef Jeff is top fragging, believe it or not. Loyal goes straight in and takes off JPK's head. Can't quite find the shot for Killerman. But, of course, Mammoth will always continue to fight back. And Hunter does bring this back into the realm of possibility.
Yeah, so unfortunately that extension not going out super well there for Mammoth. They do lose a couple lives for their mission. Frixel down below may meet a engagement with Zethi, who's actually going to try and nade Hunter from below. He's actually standing right below the hatch, so he will remain safe for a little while. Zethi does not have nades anymore, so he's going to be safe inside of Logi. Meanwhile, for Desire, they do want to start working on this jacuzzi wall and putting the pressure onto the bomb site.
They've got the numbers advantage, Mandy. They're so close to not getting 7-1. Right, that's got to be the first
They can do
step.
it. They can do it.
2 weeks in a row is too much. Desire do not want to let it happen for a 3rd time. And so they just need to find these 3 remaining players. As Frixel has done a great job of sneaking his way up. Look at this from Chef, though. That's a lot of info. He's spotted a player right on the other side of his wall. He's there with the Supernova, but the pre-fire is great. It's a trade. But Desire can be happy with that as they still retain the numbers advantage. Scratch that. Frixel's brought it back. Zethi's gone. Bale and Kaken now once again tasked with the 2v2 as Kaken forces that diffuser down. He's faked it. He's looking for a push, but Mammoth will not be baited, and Kaken has been taken down. Bale will not survive. Mammoth, 2nd place on the standings, awaits them. They are massive in stage 2. They've had a glow up like nothing else. And they are cruising through.
It's actually incredible the work that Mammoth have been able to do throughout the stage. Like you said, the glow up that we could have never anticipated has all been led by this team, and it is just such a fantastic